Looks like South Africa likes us a whole lot by now, so I'm going to go ahead and get everything, you know, except the treaties I want to avoid until World War II pops off for the time being anyway. Get those going with South Africa as well, so we can see into there, use there if we need to. I know once I start making full-on alliances, he's going to take note, and that's going to affect his strategy. So I want to ally with someone like Australia and New Zealand, but he's going to take note of that and then probably start searching for allies himself if he isn't already. And that's something that concerns me. I don't want to accidentally change his strategy and get him doing some stuff that I don't want him to do. My inflation is notably going down now. While it's like that, I'm going to see if I can get my military training up to where I want it without it raising my inflation, because, I mean, the amount is negligible compared to the actual family subsidy spending. Unfortunately, this will make a hit on my birth rate. It's already making a hit on my fucking immigration rate, but the health of my economy, I think, is more important right now. Iraq's gonna have coup d'etats like 3 fucking times. That's not very interesting. I think I will test how he reacts to me making allies with South Africa, because Australia and New Zealand aren't necessarily right next to him. The UK, you know, is a main part of the allies. He won't take too much note, I think, of South Africa, because it's just such an out there country. There's little reason as of why I would even do this, probably, in his eyes. Yes, let's go ahead and get every remaining treaty with South Africa, get my first alliance, because I do plan on weaseling my way into the allies, or, you know, those that end up remaining anyway. I am probably going to avoid the Axis. Whether we do PvP or PvE, avoiding the Axis is in my best interest, because a stronger allies means that he will find himself in more of a hole. Looks like South Africa only has a paltry military right now. If this is most of their military deployed, they probably started out with like no infantry, if maybe only a bare bones one. So at least they have some room to grow. Oh yeah, I forgot, I enabled debt. Let's take a look at debt. Canada already has the most debt out of everyone. They're probably expanding their own economy so rapidly. Mexico has the highest domestic approval. That's kind of random. Japan's population is falling. Oh, his GDP per capita is falling too. And his inflation's so low, that's actually a big deal. It's fallen $2 since earlier. That's really, really, really good for us in the long run, because his GDP per capita is already so low. How's it going over there in Japan?
It's going fairly well, actually.
I see you've been making a whole bunch of buildings and production internally.
Yeah. And I see you just allied yourself with South Africa down there.
Yeah, South Africa. I thought they'd be a nice friend to have.
Yeah. I'm having some friends too. Particularly in Central and South America, you know, just for trade.
Oh, yeah, okay.
They are buying many of goods for me.
Yeah, I'm trading pretty much everywhere. I'm not really paying attention to who I'm trading with. I'm trading with anyone that comes to me. Looks like our inflation is still dropping, which is good, even with my military spending up.
It's looking pretty good right now.
I think I should be able to raise my family subsidy a little bit. Let's raise it up to 30 right now. I want to find, like, whatever the perfect point is.
I see you're sitting at a nice $24 billion.
Yeah, dude, they call me the World Bank. Oh, my unemployment is still markedly low somehow. We still have a labor shortage, despite inflation dropping. It's still dropping, though, so we'll keep an eye on it. It should end up being okay. Oh, looks like we're already producing M3 half-tracks like crazy. Yeah, he loves these. They produce like twice as fast as Rangers, and they're just way better than everything else that we have that's motorized or mechanized so far. I'm glad that he enjoys them. They are very expensive though, so they are going to raise military costs. I'll go ahead and get rid of everything else and just leave us with the Rangers and half-tracks for the time being. Seems like he is balancing Panzers and M2A2s, so we'll have some better short-range tanks and some not as good long-range tanks for the time being to get us through. Which reminds me, I should find our carriers. Yep, we have some carriers out here. I'm going to find them because I'm going to probably tell them to just go home. I'm going to realistically tell them to go deconstruct because they're a lot of money. I'm not going to use them. So I'm just going to tell them all to go scrap one by one. I like how this game still classifies the Langley as a carrier, whereas it was not considered a carrier by this point in history. The Langley was actually a, an aircraft tender is what they basically demoted it to. It was converted like 3 fucking times, but the Langley was the name of the version of it that was just more of a aircraft tender. But that should be all of our carriers going back to scrap, and that should be good. Inflation still dropping, unemployment still holding. Okay, pretty good. Unemployment's probably just being affected because family subsidy itself has lowered my overall available amount of manpower for my economy, but it's inflation that's the biggest deal to keep in mind. As of right now, inflation is hovering at 12.9, not so bad. I think I'm going to start warmongering here soon. Maybe a little early, and it will definitely hurt my capability to make friends if I do. So I should definitely be careful about that. As long as I keep pumping money and stuff into those I want to be friends with, it shouldn't matter in the long run. And hell, going to war may end up convincing the Philippines to actually use that land production to make some units. It'll be a small war, though. I'm just really planning on going for either Haiti or Liberia. Haiti has more population, which would be nice, because my population's pretty low right now for what I can support. Liberia has more rubber, which is really exactly what I'm looking for, but it would be harder to maybe fight over. I'm going to get all my current deployed rangers to head on down to Miami. They'll follow, you know, maybe that's not a good idea. There's no rail line over there, and these guys are actually going to move pretty slowly. Let's pick somewhere that is actually connected to a railway, maybe? If there is anywhere like that on the East Coast. It doesn't seem to be. The US has a lot of roads, not a lot of rails. They'll still get down there in time, though. So yeah, I guess I'll just let them go to Miami for now. I'm also going to deploy my other ranger unit, and I'm taking all control away from the minister for them. And I'm going to send him over down to Miami, too. That'll be 15 rangers. And I think 15 rangers is enough to dominate Haiti. We're also going to need some capital ships to support the initial push. Let's take control away for the New York, and we'll send the New York down outside of Haiti as well. And maybe one more cap ship would be good. We won't need a whole lot, realistically. We don't actually have like a whole lot of capital ships in the world right now. Most of the capital ships I do have are over by Hawaii. Alright, here's one. The Nevada. Let's go ahead and take control away from you. It looks like you were going back to like refit or something. But now you're going down there. Let me just confirm that this is a class of ship that can make that. Okay, yeah, you can make it. You have enough fuel? Yeah, you guys should be good. Oh, fuck, I didn't mean to do that. 2 capital ships should be enough to force my way up to the port, land with the Rangers, take over the whole country. I'll gain access to a little bit more rubber. I'll gain access to another 2.5 million population. We're still dealing with a labor shortage, huh? Yeah, because now it's not even related to inflation. It's related to my overall available population. So I'm going to start eking up the family subsidy again to raise my population now that it's getting a little more under control. So what's the Japanese Emperor's plans for the near future?
Self-sufficiency by any means necessary.
I gotcha.
While also trying to not raise any conflict with the West. As I actually just denied the Fioros mutual defense.
Yeah, I plan on staying out of Europe for the near future as well. I'm not so sure I want to get involved in that.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get involved in that either.
I'm glad to see we're on the same page. For now.
For now, anyway.
For now. Who are you thinking of as your first target?
That depends. If I tell you, are you going to get involved?
I am not going to ally or sign a mutual defense pact with anybody on mainland Asia if you tell me.
Alright. Probably going to be Siam.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, no, I have no and had no intention of allying with them, specifically because I knew that you would probably go for them.
For the rubber and the oil?
Yeah, yep. For the rubber especially. But as a Pacific power, nonetheless, I may look, probably will look for allies that can support myself, at least for the early war.
Such as Australia, New Zealand.
Yeah, that sound about right?
That sounds about right.
Okay, good. I'm glad you agree.
I kind of figured you were going to anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you figured that.
Considering I just see him pop up right now.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what you thought about that before I did it. I could have done this for the past few months.
I'm actually quite surprised I didn't see it. Like,
I was waiting to hear what your plans were, or see what your plans were, because I didn't want to do that and you'd be like, oh, you're expanding into the Pacific. I was like, well, were you planning on going for these? They're not really very resource rich. Their population's low. They are basically barren wastelands.
Basically, yeah. Strategically, even for that, it's no importance to me.
Okay, good.
Now, when all these colonies start becoming independent, then we might have a different story on our hands.
Speaking of, looks like I can get everything short of a formal alliance with Portugal. I'll go ahead and do that, minus the mutual defense and stuff, because I could use Portugal to my advantage in Africa, and they're not likely to actually get involved in the war. My 2 capital ships are reporting for duty. Let's go see if we can just move them over here. Yep. And they're going to lead the way for the Rangers to land in Haiti. I still think 15 will be enough. And then we should be able to stomp out Haiti, no problem. How's our situation? Unemployment's actually still in a labor shortage, even though inflation is still doing fairly well. Again, probably because of my population situation. I'm going to go ahead and get family subsidy back to max. Its price isn't as high as it was, which is funny. It has affected its own price. And since I'm about to go to war, that is likely going to affect my own price as well. The Rangers are mounting up here. It's like their morale and efficiency are doing okay. Could be doing a little bit better. We are in a labor shortage. That is unfortunate. It will fix. It will get out of the labor shortage. I have no doubt, especially as my population gain starts improving a little bit. I solved the problem in the short term, and I think the war will solve it again even more because of the lack of tourism for a little bit after declaring war. I got all the allies I wanted to. I don't really plan on Canada because I'd rather conquer Canada. It may make the UK mad at me if I went to war with them. In fact, the UK might fight me over Canada, but I'd rather conquer Canada than ally with it and just simply connect my territory up here. It would make it a lot more defensible. It would make me a lot more defensible to have all this. Not to mention, I believe Canada's sitting on a good amount of, resources as well. Good amount of resources that I could use, and they'd be better to me as annexed territory than a puppet or as an ally. Poor Mongolia. Their treasury is empty, and they're so small and poor that they can't even afford to take out debt. Looks like 13 of my Rangers have made it here so far. Another one's coming down the road, and there should still be one more on the way. I don't see any fucking sign of it, though. Oh, here it is. That's kind of far away. Maybe waiting for that isn't the best idea. Alright, this little party I have here should be good for now. Let's go ahead and sea transport these Rangers over to Haiti. And we are going to get our first invasion going. This is a very small invasion. These amount of Rangers does not really add up to a whole lot. Speaking of, how's my infantry production going? I think he's still just pumping out exclusively half-tracks. He must really favor them. They are a lot more expensive, but you can make them faster, and their stats are, while still worse than Rangers, pretty good for how mobile they are. He's still not making any research or production or anything. But what is he going to gain from Siam, actually? He's going to gain 2 land production. He's going to gain an air production. It'll be interesting to see how he projects his power all the way over here, though, because he can't just waltz right in. Ooh, this will open up the colonies to him really easily if he gets it, though. What do they have? Do they have any research? They have no research, but they do have a little bit of military production that will very much benefit him. Haiti has no research, no military production. I'm only doing this for rubber. I'm doing this one first because it's closer and will be easier to do. All right, well, the war is about to begin. Yes, I did.
Oh, saved.
Oh.
Oh.
Double rainbow, what does it mean?
Better not be going to war anywhere. What?
Nothing. Well, nothing. Nothing.
Haiti?
Nothing's happening.
Why Haiti?
They're asking for it.
They're asking for it.
Let's reapply our,
I condemn that, sir.
Alright, our Rangers are doing well, even with the bombardment. We took their capital, it was that simple. Now we just have to stomp over all of their other land. Let's get this going. We need to just waltz around, basically, and claim the rest of this. You know what I should have done before starting this? I should have started funding their insurgency so that they would surrender faster. Now we just need to essentially walk around and conquer the rest of the country. At least I'm not conquering someone as geopolitically, strategically important as Siam.
Alright, alright.
Besides, you should be happy about this. This means the rest of the world will not like me as much.
And what, pray tell, is your reason for going into Haiti, other than they were asking for it?
The same reason as you, actually. Self-sufficiency.
Okay, I'll allow it.
I attacked them exclusively because they have some rubber deposits and they are close to me and thus easier to reach. It's better I go to Haiti than Asia, am I right?
I guess so.
Like I said, I'm not going to declare any war on anyone over there on mainland if you tell me.
We took their capital.
And so Haiti was the logical one to suffer. Inflation's going up because of military spending, unemployment, tourism going way down. We have extra military spending right now because of the war, but the moment the war ends, my inflation should go down and unemployment up because my tourism will be down by like 20%. So this is only going to help me. This also opens up the Dominican Republic as well, but they don't have any resources that I want. The amount of rubber that I'm getting from this is going to be small. There's literally one city left and we're about to step on it. And we stepped on it. Haiti has nothing left. The annexation of Haiti should be just about complete. Yep, there we go. We have successfully annexed Haiti. And I believe...
Haiti.
Yeah. I believe it falls into, what does this fall into? Central America. Okay, so this is our first, no, not our first land in this theater because we still have Guantanamo Bay. Our land military has grown since the start of this, by the way, in case you want to see. Not very much, but it has grown, even though we've mostly been modernizing and not a lot of time has actually passed. We're going to want to get rid of a lot of what's actually in this country because it's not actually going to be that useful to me. Any mil mid, nothing, any... Oh, right, we still have a lot of ind mid. We get all the cons mid out of there. All the coal small that they had, we're going to get rid of. Any petrol small? No? What else do you guys have? I might have to check manually. Ind mid, coal. I'm still using coal, right? Like, I'm still actively using coal as a power source. Yes. All right, you can keep that for now, maybe. Well, actually, I should probably still get rid of it from here just because it's inefficient to actually produce here as opposed to anywhere else. Yeah, I'll get rid of pretty much everything that I got from them like that. Let's see what they have here. Seaport and an air base on the same hex. I hate that. I hate when that's a thing. There's an ind mid. There's an industrial. I might leave the full-sized industrial because I do actually need more industrial production, inefficient or not. I'm going to get rid of this air base. I don't need an air base where the seaport is. There's an ind mid here to get rid of. They have some agriculture. We're definitely going to get rid of that. I mean, either way, when you take over a country, you automatically harvest from agricultural and timber nodes anyway. Of course, less efficient in situations like this, but that's why it's really good to take over big countries that have a lot of resources, but not a lot of population. And so I can probably go this whole playthrough without ever needing agriculture or timber production as a result of this phenomenon, or rule, shall we say. This is also going to need some roads and stuff built. I'm actually going to get rid of their actual roads because there's probably going to be almost no transport like happening here anyway. It's such an unimportant place. I'm going to get rid of all their roads and replace with rails because as you can see, my total roads and rails, the amount it costs to do one or the other, much different. And I already have inflation problems. I can save some money while improving the infrastructure here. Labor shortage, yeah, I know, but it shouldn't get any worse. Anyway, shouldn't get any worse, of course. Setting this up is going to be weird because we're going to have to go like hex by hex. Okay, so I'm setting up a rail line connecting all of this, and once the roads over here finish deconstructing, I will make a rail line going up here as well. That one ranger was still on its way to Haiti. I find that funny. I don't need to, but for organizational purposes, I guess I'll go send that over to Haiti too. Okay, looks like the road is almost done over here. We are still going to want an air base over here. Just one. That would provide us some air power in the region. I guess I'll make it... We only really need one port. I don't need to make any more over here, so I'll make it over here, the air base. So it's decently far away anyway. And now we can get a rail line going. Is this considered land? Yes, it is. All right, cool. So we'll get that going up over there, that rail line, and then we can connect this up to here. And voila! A rail line connecting basically all of Haiti. It's going to be much, much cheaper than the road that was there, even though there's more rail to it. Our inflation is still going up, which is actually very surprising. I can probably improve it by just lowering my maintenance and training spending again, because we don't need it up anymore, because I'm not going to declare war again just yet. Looks like the UK has 2 techs we don't have, both medical. We'll definitely go for those. Oh, in fact, Japan has 2 as well. They've researched the electron microscope and underground coal glassification. Yeah, I see. It's funny, he researched that even though he doesn't want to, because I haven't researched a lot of that stuff. I have so much other stuff I've been researching that I just haven't bothered. Looks like the 1941 artillery isn't actually going to be that much of an improvement, but we do unlock some motorized at that point. This howitzer definitely does not look better than anything we have, so we're not going to get that. This motorized howitzer might be useful. I'll go ahead and start researching land-launched rockets. I'm going to try to get any older techs into the queue that I might be missing. Things from like before 1939 especially. Yeah, especially things that have to do with the atomic bomb. I might just tackle the atomic bomb all by itself. I'll research radar as well. X-ray, whatever is important for the atomic bomb, I'll get that. I don't need the coal glassification, so I'm not going to bother researching that. I'll just buy it from someone later that grabs it if anybody does, because I have more than enough coal anyway. There, we've added some more research to ensure that we have some well-rounded research happening and that we're not running out anytime soon. The world, as you can see, is a lot more red. They don't like me as much. Those that did like me still love me, but most of the world isn't as friendly with me anymore, but it's okay, because this is not going to be an ally-heavy playthrough for me. I'm going to make strategic alliances here and there. I'll ally with the allies if the allies end up doing well in World War II. There are some other allies I want, like Portugal. I already have what I need from Portugal, though, which is a way into Belgian Congo when that becomes independent. The UK is building 2 research centers. Oh boy. They definitely want to catch up. I'm still building my first. It's more than halfway done. Again, I didn't really get any from taking over Haiti or anything like that. They have a consumer goods here. I don't really need that. I have plenty of consumer goods factories. If I need more later, which I will, I'll keep them from other conquests or just build them somewhere more efficient like my homeland. Industrial goods factories are fairly important for me, although I'd prefer them to be more efficient. I'll just keep that one because of its strategic value. My tourism is rebounding very quickly, which is actually keeping my inflation very high at 14.2. It's not the worst thing in the world so far. We're not too heavy into a labor shortage, and we have so much money anyway that it's not going to affect us like the inflationary prices. But the large amount of inflation means our GDP per capita is skyrocketing. It's currently the highest, second highest in the world, due to the fact that I've actually stifled my inflation for so long. And thus, it means we will make more and more tax income as this goes on. And he, on the other hand... Whoa. Am I reading this right? Oh, dude, the amount of GDP per capita in the world has changed dramatically. Everyone's is raising very quickly. His is raising now, too. But he is a lot lower in comparison to everybody else than he used to be. I do want to end up getting what my population thinks of me up higher, which will require more spending, inevitably. Oh, looks like healthcare can go lower again. I'm going to go ahead and lower that a little bit, down to 53. Maybe that'll be enough. Belgium and Norway made an alliance. That's an interesting alliance popping up.
Yeah, Norway and Belgium.
That's not historical. That is just a, you know, volatility-influenced alliance that happened there. Looks like his spending overall has increased. His inflation's up to 3%. His domestics are, well, you know, I don't know. His birth and death rate have improved. His literacy has improved, but his immigration and emigration has actually worsened. So I think he's still losing population. No, he's gaining population. Barely. Yeah, he's barely gaining population. I'm still gaining millions a year. He's gaining maybe a few 100,000 a year. It looks like that situation will be improving for him. We just got tank tech, which is good. Although it's not enough to open up any new possibilities for tanks. We're waiting on more research to allow more improvement to our tanks. Yeah, what we are going to need is armor designs level 2 to push our tanks any further. So we're going to want to push that onto the list. Let's kick out basic helicopters for right now. I want to get this researching ASAP because it'll take almost a year to make this anyway. Oh wait, where'd it go? Yeah, almost a year to make this. And that unlocks Tank Tech 39 and Armor Designs level 3. And when we get access to that, our tanks will improve drastically. And when our tanks improve, that will only be good for us. Our AI is going really, really heavily into these half tracks, which I like. Expensive or not, they'll be very, very handy for my plans. I do plan on potentially invading Mexico, maybe Canada, but that one would have to wait. I could get an alliance with Portugal already, and I really might, because I have no reason to conquer them. They could be my gateway into Europe if Germany ends up taking over and I want to invade Germany for whatever reason. And most importantly, an alliance with them means, well, an alliance with their colonies. And I have no reason to want to take over their colonies or them. And I don't think he does either, especially since they tend to stay out of World War II. And making alliances helps your treaty integrity, and I could use some treaty integrity recovery. Mine's at 73.7. His is at 76. When he attacks Siam, though, that's going to change for him. Still curious how he's going to project himself out here. He's probably just going to send like most of his military and just try to bum rush land, which they definitely would not be able to deal with that if he does successfully do it. Let's go ahead and get that alliance with Portugal, increase my list of friends a little bit. Liberia has less than 1 million population, and it's dropping because they're out of money. Yeah, dude, even if they have a military, they won't even be able to fund it to repel me. I'll get all of their rubber, which isn't an insane amount, but every amount that we get will help. As of right now, I still just need my inflation to get under control, and it's been stagnating where it is again, and hopefully that will get under control, and then I can start expanding some more, increasing my spending, all that good shit. Oh, it looks like we can actually lower health a little bit more, so let's go ahead and lower that. I'm going to keep this at about 100% to keep my inflation under check. I don't want to, you know, get a bonus for that necessarily. There's no bonus that I want from that. The only bonus I really care about in the near future is from infrastructure, which the price of has actually increased pretty rapidly. Family subsidy too. The more you fund family subsidy, the more your population increases, the more you have to fund family subsidy. It's an exponential thing, just like social assistance. But social assistance is way worse. Healthcare is still just stagnating, so I'm going to lower this down 1 more mil and see how that works. I still have my maintenance and training spending cut. I'm going to fund insurgency on Liberia just because it's going to be so fucking like cheap to do.